In this video, I will teach you how to make many individual recipes. They can be perfect to sell, to make for your family, for a candy bar, or for whatever you want. They are not very difficult recipes. And as in all my videos, I'm going to give you both the ingredients in ounces and in grams so that no matter the country you follow me from, you can make my recipes without complications. Now let's start with the recipes. Today, I am going to teach you how to prepare a very delicious and versatile cream, Nutella Brigadeiro. It is perfect for filling sheet cakes, pies, individual desserts, and for decorating cupcakes. This filling is ideal for making the typical brigadeiros, those little balls that we then roll in sprinkles. Chocolate sprinkles or different toppings, shredded coconut, crushed almonds, pistachio, colored sprinkles, or whatever you like the most. It is also perfect for filling macarons, eclairs, for decorating small desserts, little cakes, or making decorations on cakes. Let's begin. In a saucepan I add 2 cups heavy cream, 500 milliliters. I am using Ambiente Purados cream. I add 1 cup sweetened condensed milk, 300 grams, 10.5 ounces, and 5 heaping tablespoons unsweetened cocoa powder, 50 grams, 1.75 ounces. I stir a little to incorporate the cocoa and bring the saucepan to the heat. I stir constantly so it does not stick and wait for it to boil, and thicken a little. In total, it will take me about a couple of minutes. When it has boiled well and the texture is perfect, I add 1 cup dark chocolate, 150 grams, 5.3 ounces. You can add the amount you like most, more or less, according to your preference, because at this point we already have a super delicious cream. I stir well until the chocolate is completely incorporated. And now yes, I add 2 heaping tablespoons Nutella, 50 grams, 1.75 ounces. If you love an intense Nutella flavor, you can add a little more, but for my taste with 2 tablespoons it is just right. I mix well and let it boil for about 30 seconds more, and turn off the heat. I transfer the Brigadeiro cream to a tray. I place plastic wrap in direct contact. Direct contact with the cream, I put the lid on and let it cool at room temperature. I left it for about 3 hours, but if you prefer, you can leave it overnight outside the refrigerator to achieve this perfect texture. Now I am going to show you 2 ways to use it. With half of the cream, I am going to form some Brigadeiro balls, the typical little balls that I roll in 5 types of toppings that I have prepared here. Various types of colored sprinkles, shredded coconut, crushed nuts, and white chocolate sprinkles to which I add pink coloring powder, but you can put whatever comes to your mind. Nuts, unsweetened cocoa powder, chocolate chips. Use your creativity. With the other half of the cream, I transfer it to a glass bowl. I take it to the microwave in 30-second intervals until it has this creamy, manageable texture, but not liquid. Be careful, do not overheat it. This texture is perfect for using with a piping bag. I am going to make the demonstration in transparent glass cups so you can see well the texture and not have any doubt when decorating them at home. And here you have it, perfect brigadeiros with varied toppings and cream ready to fill or decorate whatever you want. If you like this recipe, do not forget to like, subscribe, activate the bell, and share this video. Many thanks to all the channel members for their support, and don't go yet because there are still many wonderful recipes left.
In this full tutorial I will teach you how to make a candy bar at home, You can sell it for other people and get a very good profit. I will teach you how to get crispy, delicious, and perfect meringues and kisses for your homemade candy bar. Some cute cake pops and cake ice creams and how to display them for your homemade candy bar using a simple shoebox. Here are 5 ideas for your candy bar where you can create and set up a sweet table even better than the one I'm showing here. You just need a nice tablecloth, some balloons, cups, plates, drinks, and let the party begin. In this tutorial, I show you how to make perfect macarons for your homemade candy bar in an easy and quick way. In the clean, dry bowl of the mixer, add 200 g of egg whites, 7 medium egg whites or about 7 ounces. Beat for 2 minutes until they foam slightly. As you can see, I placed a timer to help you know how long to beat the French meringue until you get a firm and glossy texture. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 285 g of granulated sugar, 18 tablespoons or 1½ cups. The ingredient amounts in this recipe are given in grams and tablespoons, but I recommend measuring them with a kitchen scale if possible instead of using tablespoons, because variations in quantity can affect the final result. In total, it's 8 minutes of whipping for this amount. If you're using a hand mixer, you might need a bit more time. If necessary, and the almond flour is not very fine, you'll need to grind it a bit more. The amount of ground almonds is 285 g, 28 tablespoons or about 2½ cups. Add 285 g of powdered sugar, 20 tablespoons or 2¼ cups, and mix to combine the almond flour and powdered sugar. Now sift both ingredients very well together. This is done to make sure the grains are fine enough to get a smooth surface and perfect macarons. Let me tell you, this is the first part of a 5-video series in which we will make 5 recipes that will help you set up a simple and affordable homemade candy bar so your children and guests never forget the day, and you don't have to pay high prices for something so simple. Stay until the end of this series, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the recipes. Today we start with this magnificent French meringue macaron recipe. Add the ground almond and powdered sugar mix to the mixer bowl. Mix a little to avoid a cloud of powder, and now beat for just about 15 seconds and that's it. See how in just a few seconds of mixing the consistency changed? And here you have the perfect texture. A dough that's too stiff won't rise in the oven and won't have the famous macaron shape. A dough that's too runny will simply spread on the tray. And if it does rise in the oven, the so-called foot will grow outward instead of upward, and the macaron will be flat. So here you can see the texture the dough should have. We made it with the mixer all the way to the end without having to mix with a spatula counting the folds. If you want to make 2-color macarons like I do, prepare the mixture in 2 bowls and add gel food coloring. Add the amount of coloring depending on the tone you want. I add 2 drops of coloring to each bowl. If you want to make the macarons in just 1 color, you can also add the coloring when you're whipping the French meringue. Here I give you plenty of video time so you can see that I mix thoroughly to integrate the coloring, but the texture of the macaron batter stays the same, it doesn't get more liquid. Transfer the macaron batter to a piping bag with a round tip. You can also use a piping bag without a nozzle. I use a silicone mat as a guide to form the macarons. If you don't have a mat like this or something similar, you can make a guide with an extra sheet of parchment paper. Take a 4 cm, 1.5 inch, cookie cutter and draw several circles with a few centimeters of space between them. Place this guide under the parchment paper where you'll pipe the macarons, and once piped, remove the guide and transfer it to another tray. When you finish filling the tray with macarons, tap the tray, lift it and let it drop on the work surface. This is done to release the larger air bubbles in the batter and also to help the macarons settle on the tray. Preheat the oven to 135 degrees Celsius 275 degrees Fahrenheit while you're piping the macarons, about 10 minutes before baking. I'll show you a different way. Once the macarons are piped, I put them straight into the oven without drying them first. Bake them for 20 minutes at 135 degrees Celsius 275 degrees Fahrenheit. My oven is convection with fan, and I can bake all 4 trays at once. If your oven has top and bottom heat, bake the trays one at a time. Turn off the oven and let the macarons cool completely for at least 30 minutes before trying to peel them off. However, if you live in a place with high humidity, more than 50%, I recommend storing the trays in an air-conditioned room or placing a fan directed at the trays to remove some of the moisture, and then bake them. In this recipe, I use a white chocolate cream, but you can find many other creams on my channel and use the one you like the most. Here's a list of creams for you to choose from. Here I show you how to build the macaron tower for the candy bar. It looks spectacular. I bought this plastic tower for the macarons on Amazon, but you can find it in various baking supply stores. You could also set it up in cardboard boxes or arrange it in different ways. But the way I'm showing you here looks really beautiful, to be honest, and plastic towers aren't very expensive. Now I'll show you how to make Swiss meringue and how to get crispy, delicious, and perfect meringues and kisses for your homemade candy bar. Start by preparing a saucepan with a bit of water and bring it to a boil. Place a bowl over it that fits snugly over the pan. Add 250 g of egg whites, about 8 large egg whites or 8.8 ounces, and 500 g of granulated sugar, 2.5 cups or 35 tablespoons. As you can see, I set a timer to make it easier for you when making this Swiss meringue, so you know how long each phase takes to achieve a firm and glossy Swiss meringue. Stir constantly while heating it in a double boiler, monitoring the temperature with a kitchen thermometer. If you don't have a thermometer, touch the mixture with your hand, you'll see the sugar is fully dissolved and the egg whites are very hot. Keep stirring without stopping, and don't let it go above 60 degrees Celsius 140 degrees Fahrenheit, as higher temperatures would cause the egg whites to curdle. Transfer the preparation to the bowl of a stand mixer with a whisk attachment and start beating at high speed until the meringue cools completely and is firm and glossy. Let me tell you, this is the second part of a 5-video series where we make 5 easy recipes that will help you create a simple and very affordable homemade candy bar. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the recipes. Add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of strawberry extract and continue beating for 1 more minute or until fully incorporated. In total, it takes 14 minutes for this amount. The proof that the Swiss meringue is fully whipped is when it forms a peak at the tip of the whisk, also known as the golden peak. Divide the Swiss meringue into several bowls and add gel food coloring. I add a good amount of coloring because I want vibrant colors. If you're aiming for soft, pastel colors, 1 or 2 drops of coloring will be enough. Here I show you the piping tips I use. Preheat the oven to 90 degrees Celsius 195 degrees Fahrenheit while you're piping the meringues, that is, turn it on 10 minutes before placing the trays in the oven. Since every oven is different, as a general rule, meringues are baked at the lowest temperature. In my case, it's 90 degrees Celsius 195 degrees Fahrenheit for 90 minutes. What we're really doing is dehydrating the meringue, which is why it needs a long bake at low heat. If your oven's lowest temperature is still too high, you can place a kitchen towel in the oven door to leave it slightly ajar. I use a convection oven with fan and can bake all 4 trays at once. If your oven only has top and bottom heat, bake the trays one at a time. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. Leave me a comment saying which country you're watching from. Tell me if you liked this recipe and if my tips were helpful. Share this recipe with your friends, this way you'll help my channel grow. In today's tutorial, I show you how to make cute cake pops and ice cream cones and how to display them for your homemade candy bar using a simple shoebox. Come on, more beautiful and more affordable is impossible. Add 500 g, 17.6 ounces or 2 3/4 cups, of dark melting chocolate and 500 milliliters, 17 fluid ounces or 2 cups, of preheated non-dairy cream. It's important that the cream is very hot but not boiling. Mix well until the chocolate melts completely. Now add finely crumbled leftover sponge cake. You can also add crushed cookies or cupcakes if you have any leftovers and want to turn them into delicious ice cream cones. Once it's well mixed and uniform, set it aside for now, but don't put it in the fridge. Now take a shoebox. My shoebox already has the holes cut out, 12 circles, each 6 centimeters, 2.4 inches, in diameter. Wrap the box in gift paper in the color of your choice and secure it with double-sided tape. After wrapping the box, mark and cut each hole in a cross shape with scissors, and insert the 12 ice cream cones. Using a spoon, fill the ice cream cones with the sponge cake and chocolate mixture. Now shape medium-sized balls and stick them on top of the ice cream cones. Let me tell you, this is the 3rd part of a 5-video series where we make 5 easy recipes that will help you create a simple and very affordable homemade candy bar. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the recipes. Also, form small balls for the cake pops. Here I wrap a 15 by 15 centimeters, 6 by 6 inch, square of foam or polystyrene with yellow paper. Melt 350 g, 12.3 ounces or about 2 cups, of white chocolate in the microwave or over a double boiler and add 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil. Mix well until it melts completely, and optionally add a few drops of white gel coloring. Dip the cake ice cream cones one by one in the melted white chocolate and place them back in the shoebox stand. To make the cake pop lollipops, dip the tip of the stick into the melted chocolate and insert the stick into the ball. Now, place the ice cream cones and cake pop balls in the fridge for 20 minutes. Dye the leftover chocolate in several colors and first dip the lollipops. Decorate them with colorful sprinkles, add a small sugar ball on top, and place them in the styrofoam stand to dry. Decorate the ice cream cones with the same leftover chocolate. Transfer it into piping bags and decorate as you like. Now I'll show you how to make soft and fluffy cupcakes and how to decorate them with Swiss meringue buttercream in an easy and professional way so they look beautiful on your dessert table or homemade candy bar. Add 6 whole eggs, no need to separate the whites from the yolks, and beat them for 2 minutes. This preparation is done using the paddle attachment of the stand mixer, not the whisk. If you're using a hand mixer with beaters, it works just as well to achieve the right texture, you'll just need a bit more time mixing. As always, I use a timer to help you know exactly how long to beat for this quantity. Add 270 grams, 1 1/3 cups, of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and continue beating for about 5 more minutes at very high speed. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. Leave me a comment telling me which country you're watching my tutorial from. Reduce the speed to low and add 160 milliliters, 2/3 cup, of oil and 160 milliliters, 2/3 cup, of milk. Mix 15 grams, 1 tablespoon, of baking powder with 370 grams, 2 3/4 cups, of all-purpose flour, previously sifted, and gradually add it to the mixture without stopping the mixer. Let me tell you, this is the 4th part of a 5-video series in which we make 5 recipes that will help you put together a simple and very budget-friendly homemade candy bar so your children and guests never forget the day, and you don't have to spend a fortune on something so simple. Stick around until the end of the series, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the recipes. In total, it's been about 9 minutes of mixing. Prepare your cupcake liners and fill them just a little over halfway with the mixture. Bake them in a preheated oven at 150 degrees Celsius 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. With this quantity, I got 22 cupcakes, but the liners I use are quite large, 55 by 45 millimeters, 2.2 by 1.8 inches. Look how pretty they are, so cute and easy to decorate. Here I've prepared several piping bags with Swiss meringue buttercream in various colors. The tips I use are Wilton 1M, Wilton 2D, for B, 195, the 68 leaf tip, and 2 Russian tips for tulips and roses. I'll leave you the link for this Swiss meringue buttercream, And in the video description you'll find a list of all the creams so you can choose the one you like best to decorate your cupcakes. I also want to mention that I have 2 tutorials with Swiss Meringue buttercream, one where I make it with a stand mixer and one where I use a hand mixer, where I give tips and tricks on how to enhance color without using too much gel food coloring. If any cupcake has a domed top, cut it with a knife to make it flat. You can also add a thin layer of cream before decorating. I personally like it like this, with this beautiful, easy, and elegant decoration that still lets a little of the cupcake show through. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Leave me a thumbs up so I know you did and share this recipe with your friends. We're going to prepare some delicious and tender butter cookies that melt in your mouth. They're very beautiful, tasty, and crumbly. It would make me so happy to know which country you're watching me from as I begin the recipe. Add 90 g of room temperature butter, 6½ tablespoons, to a bowl. This is the texture it should have. Add 90 g of powdered sugar, 3/4 cup, and mix very well. All ingredients should be at room temperature. Add 1 egg and 90 g of mayonnaise, 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon. Mix everything until you get a very smooth mixture. Add a little baking powder, a pinch of salt, and a generous teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you like my video, I would be very happy if you subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Mix everything again and add 250 g of all-purpose flour, 2 cups, in 3 parts. Add 1 part of the flour, mix vigorously, then add the rest until finished. The resulting dough should have a soft consistency. I use the large piping tip number 1E. Here I show you 2 types of piping bags, one stronger and one thinner. If you use the thinner one, place 2 piping bags together to prevent it from tearing while making the cookies. Place the piping tip inside the piping bag, cut to size, and fill the bag with half of the cookie dough. Don't overfill the bag to make it easier to work with. Prepare a baking tray with parchment paper and shape the cookies however you like. Once the cookies are shaped, place them in the fridge for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius 356 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake the cookies at 180 degrees Celsius 356 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. I recommend preheating the oven well, otherwise, the cookies may lose their shape. This is how beautiful they look. They kept the same shape and design I made with the star piping tip. With these quantities, I got 10 large cookies and 2 small ones. Dust with powdered sugar and store the cookies on a platter for serving. The cookies are very tender and crumbly, with a delicious vanilla flavor. Don't go anywhere. Up next, I'll be sharing more delicious homemade cookie recipes. Now let's move on to the second recipe. A simple, delicious, and healthy dessert that brings together the smoothness of red berry meringue with the crispiness of cookies. Start by adding 160 grams of cold water, about 2/3 cup, to a saucepan. Then add 11 grams of agar-agar, around 1 tablespoon, making sure it's a strong one with at least 900 strength. This cannot be replaced with gelatin. Next, add 200 grams of homemade red berry jam, about 3/4 cup, followed by 250 grams of sugar, 1¼ cups. While the syrup is cooking, take a separate bowl and add 80 grams of egg whites, which is about the whites of 2 large eggs. Just a reminder, you can find all the ingredients listed in the video description and in the pinned comment below. Give everything a good stir. Place the saucepan over medium heat and bring the mixture to a boil. Let it simmer for about 8 minutes, stirring occasionally, until it thickens into a smooth paste and reaches 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Add 80 grams of sugar, around 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon, and beat everything together until you get a firm and glossy meringue. You can also do this with a hand mixer if that's more convenient. Once your syrup is ready, slowly pour it into the meringue, beating constantly as you go. Keep mixing until you get a fluffy, airy, and uniform texture. If you're enjoying this video, I'd be so happy if you subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Now, fill a large piping bag, or even a plastic bag if you don't have one, with the zephyr mixture. Pipe small mounds of the mixture over Meringue-style cookies, or if you prefer, directly onto parchment paper. Before the mixture sets, place another cookie on top to create a sandwich. Be sure to check out my other videos too, that really helps the channel grow. Now you can decorate them however you like, with sprinkles, shredded coconut, cocoa powder, or your favorite topping. This is such an easy, delicious, and healthy dessert, red berry zephyr with cookies. It combines the silky smoothness of meringue, the bold flavor of berries, and the crisp texture of cookies. Made with agar-agar, it's a light and natural treat, perfect for any occasion. Its velvety texture and unique taste will win you over from the very first bite. Thank you so much for watching, and don't go anywhere, because coming up next is another delicious homemade cookie recipe you won't want to miss. Now let's move on to the third recipe. Discover how to make delicious cookies in just 5 minutes, no mixer needed. In this quick and easy recipe, I'll guide you step by step to create crispy, flavorful cookies that are perfect for satisfying cravings in record time. Enjoy the magic of homemade baking without the hassle. This recipe is incredibly simple to make. Start by adding 250 grams of butter, about 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon, softened to a creamy consistency. You can also use margarine. Soften and mix the butter until it becomes smooth and creamy. Then add 1 cup of powdered sugar, 90 grams or about 5 heaping tablespoons, and continue mixing until fully incorporated. Next, add 1 egg and mix again. Add vanilla sugar. I use 2 packets of 8 grams each, but this is optional. Also add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or another flavoring of your choice. Incorporate the vanilla, then pour in 110 milliliters of olive oil, about half a cup. You can also use sunflower oil instead. Mix well, and now it's time to add the dry ingredients. You'll need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 660 grams total, and 3/4 cup of cornstarch, 80 grams or 5 tablespoons. Add the flour gradually, and be sure to sift it. Start by adding 1 cup of flour and the cornstarch, mix using a whisk, then add another 1½ cups of flour along with 1 packet of baking powder, usually 16 grams, about 1 tablespoon. Sift it in, and since the dough will now be thicker, switch to mixing with your hands until everything is well combined. Keep half a cup of flour aside and add it only if needed, depending on the dough's texture. In my case, I use the full amount. The dough should be soft and not sticky to the touch. Finally, stir in half a cup of milk chocolate chips, or more if you like. You can also use dark or white chocolate, customize it to your taste and let me know in the comments how you made yours. Shape the cookies like this. They look beautiful when shaped like scoops of ice cream. They're very easy to make because the dough is soft and easy to handle. I use a 4 cm, 1.5 inch ice cream scoop for even shaping. Place the scoops onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper and bake them at 170 degrees Celsius 340 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes, or until they're lightly golden. These cookies release an irresistible aroma while baking, filling your kitchen with the comforting scent of fresh homemade treats. Once out of the oven, they'll have a lovely golden color and a crisp bite. These cookies are perfect alongside your morning coffee or as an afternoon snack for the kids. Their crunchy and comforting texture makes them a perfect treat for any occasion, offering a simple yet delicious bite every time. The combination of flavors, from the sweetness of the sugar, to the richness of the butter, and the added chocolate, makes every bite absolutely delightful. Surprise your loved ones with this easy and delicious recipe, and get ready for lots of compliments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing recipes. And share this video with friends or on social media to help support my channel's growth. And don't go anywhere, up next, I'll be sharing another delicious homemade cookie recipe you won't want to miss. Now let's move on to the fourth recipe. I'm going to share an easy and simple recipe for cornstarch alfajores made with egg yolks. These soft sandwich cookies are filled with dulce de leche and rolled in shredded coconut for the perfect finishing touch. Add 150 grams of unsalted butter, about 2/3 cup, to a bowl. Then add 170 grams of powdered sugar, about 1½ cups, and mix well. Now add 9 egg yolks and 2 tablespoons of rum, and mix until you get a smooth, creamy consistency. Once the yolks and buttercream are fully blended, grate the zest of half a lemon into the mixture. If you're enjoying the video, please leave a comment, give it a like. Thank you so much for watching. Next, combine your dry ingredients. 420 grams of cornstarch, about 3½ cups. 90 grams of all-purpose flour, about 3/4 cup. And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sift everything together and mix well. Now add half of the flour mixture to the buttercream and stir until incorporated. Then add the rest and continue mixing until everything is fully combined. The dough is now perfect. Divide the dough into 3 equal portions. Roll out the first piece and wrap it in plastic wrap. This will make it easier to cut out the cookies later on. Let the dough rest in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Cover it with plastic wrap to prevent it from drying out. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Use top and bottom heat, or a fan setting if your oven has one. Line 1 or more baking trays with parchment paper. Dust your surface lightly with flour and roll out the dough using a rolling pin. Cut the dough into circles using a cookie cutter about 5 centimeters, 2 inches in diameter, and place them onto the prepared tray. Bake the cookies for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius 350 degrees Fahrenheit, then let them cool completely before filling them. Once baked, they should be just right, soft and delicate. Prepare a piping bag fitted with a 1 round tip, and fill it with about 1 cup of thick dulce de leche. Sandwich the cookies 2 by 2, piping a dollop of dulce de leche in the center and letting it slightly ooze out the sides. Then roll the edges in shredded coconut to finish them off. Surprise your friends and family with this classic and delicious treat, and don't forget to share this recipe with them. And don't go anywhere, up next, I'll be sharing another easy and delicious homemade cookie recipe you won't want to miss. Now let's move on to the 5th recipe. Today, we're making homemade cookies filled with Nutella. You're going to love them. These cookies have a completely different texture. You really have to try them. Start by sifting 325 grams of all-purpose flour, about 2.5 cups, into a large bowl with low sides. Then add 3 grams of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon, and 130 grams of sugar, a bit over half a cup. Mix everything together. Add 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks from medium eggs. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Now add the zest of half a lemon, and using a fork, gently mix the eggs with the dry ingredients until well combined. Finally, pour in 100 grams of melted but cooled butter, about 7 tablespoons. Use a fork again to incorporate the butter. You'll start to see the dough forming into large crumbs. Continue by kneading the dough with your hands until you get a smooth, uniform consistency. Wrap the dough in plastic wrap and refrigerate it for 30 minutes to rest. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius 350 degrees Fahrenheit. On a lightly floured work surface, roll out the dough to about 4 millimeters thick, a little under 1/4 inch, forming a rectangle or round shape. Cut the cookies in whatever shapes you like. Here's how I like to do it. I use a variety of cookie cutters, and I press a decorative baking mat over the dough to imprint the surface. With just a few ingredients and a little time, you get the perfect dough, not sticky, easy to shape, and very comfortable to work with. You can support me by sharing my videos on your social media, it really helps. And be sure to check out my other videos too, that's super important for my channel's growth. You can even create flower designs using fondant or chocolate molds. Yes, this dough works beautifully for that too. That just proves how perfect and versatile this short crust dough really is. I also use plum jam in some versions. Baking cookies at home is such a fun activity, and it lets you personalize every shape and design. This ideal texture makes it easy to add fine details and decorations using fondant molds or textured mats, giving your cookies a professional look. Don't be afraid to experiment with shapes and decorations, enjoy the creative process of making your own unique cookies. The best part about this recipe is that it uses simple ingredients and comes together quickly. You get a dough that's easy to handle, not sticky, and strong enough to keep its shape, a real pleasure to work with. Now I'm going to leave you for about 5 minutes so you can watch how I prepare the cookie dough. If you'd like, you can stay and get some ideas, especially for the fondant molds I use. The jam I'm using is plum jam. Feel free to skip ahead if you prefer, or just relax and watch the process to see how I do it. Bake the cookies at 180 degrees Celsius 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 to 30 minutes, or until they're lightly golden. You can bake them a little less or a little more depending on whether you prefer them pale or more toasted, like I did. Once they've cooled, add a teaspoon of Nutella to the center of one cookie, then cover it with another. Gently press the edges to seal the filling inside. I hope you enjoyed this cookie recipe. Give them a try and let me know how it went in the comments. And don't go anywhere, up next is another amazing homemade cookie recipe that you definitely won't want to miss. We're making perfect purple macarons with a delicate, smooth texture and a delicious filling. I'll guide you through every step, from preparing the meringue to achieving the perfect consistency for a flawless macaron shell. These treats may seem tricky, but with the right technique, you'll master them in no time. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know where you're watching from. Now, let's get started. 135 g, 4.76 ounces approximate 4.75 large egg whites, aged for at least 2 hours. Aging egg whites means letting them rest uncovered in the fridge for 24 to 48 hours. This helps create a more stable meringue. 190 g, 6.7 ounces 1 cup, granulated sugar. 190 g, 6.7 ounces 1 3/4 cups almond flour, finely ground for the smoothest texture. 190 g, 6.7 ounces 1 1/2 cups powdered sugar, store-bought for best results. Mix the powdered sugar with the almond flour in a food processor to get a fine, even texture, then sift twice. This helps create smooth and delicate macarons. Beat the aged egg whites until frothy, then gradually add the granulated sugar. Continue beating until the meringue is firm, glossy, and forms stiff peaks. Add a small amount of purple gel food coloring and mix well. If needed, add a little more for a deeper color. Fold the sifted almond flour and powdered sugar into the meringue. Mix gently until the batter reaches the ribbon stage, when it flows like lava and dissolves back into itself within 20 to 25 seconds. Be careful not to overmix or undermix. Transfer the batter into a piping bag with a round tip and pipe small circles onto a lined baking tray. the tray against the counter to remove air bubbles. For an elegant touch, lightly dust with edible gold powder before baking. Let the macarons rest at room temperature for 30 to 60 minutes until a dry skin forms. Bake in a convection oven at 135 degrees Celsius 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, both trays at once, or a static oven at 135 degrees Celsius 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, one tray at a time, with heat from top and bottom. The macarons are done when they have a smooth shell and don't wobble when touched. Let them cool completely before filling. Use a piping bag with Swiss buttercream or your favorite filling. I recommend piping tip 1E for a beautiful effect. For the best texture, refrigerate the filled macarons in an airtight container for 24 hours before serving. If you liked my video, I'd be so happy if you subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. And don't scroll away, I've still got 2 more delicious cookie recipes coming up, and they're really worth sticking around for. Today, I'm going to show you how to transform simple egg whites into delicious meringue cookies or tapas, crispy on the outside and crunchy on the inside. A simple, budget-friendly dessert that's perfect for any occasion. They're crispy, with a touch of chocolate and an exquisite Oreo filling that makes them simply irresistible. An elegant and easy-to-make dessert. If you're looking for a simple, economical, and spectacular recipe, this is the one. Save the recipe and follow the steps to make them at home. You're going to love them. This recipe is extremely easy, delicious, and perfect for using up leftover egg whites that you might not know how to use. I'd be very happy if you let me know from which country you're watching as I begin to prepare this delicious recipe. To make the meringues, I start by weighing 350 grams, 12.3 ounces, of egg whites, which is approximately the whites of 9 eggs, and nearly 700 grams, 24.7 ounces, of sugar. This recipe is very easy to calculate, as it is based on the ratio of 1 part egg whites to 2 parts sugar. Place the egg whites and sugar in a bowl and stir with a whisk until combined. I use the same bowl from the mixer. Heat a saucepan with water over medium heat, and when it begins to simmer gently, place the bowl with the egg whites and sugar on top, ensuring it doesn't touch the water. Stir the mixture constantly with the whisk for about 5 minutes, until the egg whites are warm and the sugar has completely dissolved. Once ready, transfer the mixture to the mixer and beat on high speed for 6 minutes, until the meringue is firm and glossy. Add half a teaspoon of mint essence, or the flavor of your choice, along with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Beat for 1 more minute on medium speed to incorporate everything perfectly. The result will be a firm, glossy, and silky Swiss meringue, ready in about 8 minutes. Place the meringue in a piping bag or a bag fitted with a Wilton 1M tip, and pipe uniform meringues to make them look beautiful and elegant. And that's it. With this amount of sugar and egg whites, you'll get 4 trays of meringues in shapes like roses and hearts, just as I made them. If you're using a convection oven, you can bake all 4 trays at once, just as I do. However, if you're using a conventional oven, it's better to bake the trays one by one to ensure the meringues dry evenly and retain their crunchy texture. Place them in a preheated oven at 90 degrees Celsius 194 degrees Fahrenheit and let them dry for 1 hour and 30 minutes. For better results, place a kitchen towel in the oven door to keep it slightly ajar. This will allow steam to escape while the meringues dry, helping them become perfectly crispy. Finally, fill the meringues with extra firm Oreo cream. If you don't know how to prepare it, you can find the full recipe on my channel. Meanwhile, melt dark chocolate and mix it with 2 teaspoons of odorless oil to give it a smoother and shinier finish. Dip the meringue roses halfway into the melted chocolate and decorate with raspberries and almond croquante to give them an elegant touch. Place the decorated pieces in the refrigerator for 10 minutes, or until the chocolate has completely hardened. Once ready, make sure the meringues are completely cool before storing them. You can keep them in an airtight container at room temperature, away from humidity and direct light, for up to 2 weeks. Without the filling. Meringue doesn't have to be boring. Dare to try this delicious combination: crunchy meringue, Oreo cream filling, and a touch of chocolate, a mix that's irresistible and will surprise anyone. Plus, their presentation is beautiful, like little mini cakes that look elegant and fun at the same time. Perfect for any occasion. I hope you give this recipe a try, which is not only beautiful but also absolutely delicious, easy, and economical. Try this recipe at home and let me know in the comments what you think. Are you ready to add your personal touch? Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share this idea with your friends. And don't go just yet, I still have one more recipe to show you. And this is the last recipe. I know some of you might say these aren't really cookies, but this dessert is so good, so delicious, and since it's also small in size, I just had to include it in this video. Honestly, you have to try making this at least once in your life. It's incredible. An irresistible dessert, ideal for surprising at celebrations or simply to treat yourself to something special. In a bowl, mix EDG, 2.8 ounces, of softened butter with 100 g, half a cup packed, of brown sugar until you get a smooth and homogeneous paste. Add 10 g, 1 tablespoon, of cocoa powder and 90 g, 3/4 cup, of flour, and mix until fully combined. Form a ball with your hands, place it between 2 sheets of parchment paper, and roll it out with a rolling pin until you get a thin layer. Place the crackling dough in the freezer until ready to use. Sift 135 g, 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon, of flour with 10 g, 1 tablespoon, of cocoa and set it aside for now. In a saucepan over medium heat, place 125 milliliters, half a cup, of whole milk, 125 milliliters, half a cup, of water, 110 g, 7.7 tablespoons, of butter, and a pinch of salt. Heat the mixture until the butter melts and it starts to boil, stirring occasionally with a spatula. Add the 135 g, 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon, of sifted flour and the 10 g, 1 tablespoon, of cocoa all at once. Stir quickly with a spatula or metal whisk, vigorously, until the mixture is fully incorporated and forms a smooth dough. Lower the heat and continue stirring the dough until it dries out completely and comes away from the sides and bottom of the saucepan. This should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Remove the dough from the heat and transfer it to a large bowl. If you have a stand mixer like a KitchenAid, place the dough in the mixing bowl and use the paddle attachment. Work the dough at medium speed until it cools down to about 45 degrees Celsius 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the dough is almost cool, start incorporating 250 g, 5 units, of eggs gradually. Add 1 egg at a time, letting it fully integrate before adding the next. Continue mixing until the dough is smooth, homogeneous, and has a soft consistency. If you lift it with a spatula, it should fall in a ribbon-like shape without breaking. This indicates that the dough is ready. Place the choux dough in a piping bag with a round, plain nozzle. Prepare a baking tray with a silicone mat or parchment paper. Pipe small balls of choux dough onto the mat. Take the crackling dough out of the freezer. Using a 4 cm, 1.5 in, round cutter, cut crackling discs. Place 1 disc on top of each choux ball, pressing down gently. Preheat the oven to 170 degrees Celsius 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake the choux for about 30 minutes. Turn off the oven and leave the petit choux inside for 5 more minutes to finish cooking. Let the choux cool on a wire rack before cutting and filling them. The best part is that you can freeze them without the filling, which is fantastic if you want to have them ready in advance for a special occasion. You just need to bake them, let them cool, and store them well covered in the freezer. Here I'll show you how to fill these delicious treats with creamy chocolate and dulce de leche pastry cream. I use 2 versions of the dulce de leche cream, a softer one for the filling, and a firmer one for the final decoration. For the finishing touch, I use the Wilton No. 1M and 1E tips, which give a stylish and professional look to each piece. Below, I'll leave you the tutorials for these two spectacular creams that I recently uploaded to my channel. I think showing it this way, with the complete and well-organized recipe, is a practical way for everyone to save it easily and prepare it just as I show. Next, I'll show you step by step how to make these two delicious creams, a smooth and creamy chocolate one, perfect for filling, and a firmer dulce de leche pastry cream, ideal for decorating. Both deliver an irresistible flavor and are very easy to make at home if you follow the instructions carefully. Don't worry if you've never made them before, I'll guide you through every detail so you can achieve perfect results, even if it's your first time. Add 4 egg yolks, 300 milliliters, 10 fluid ounces of warm milk, 50 g, 1.75 ounces of white sugar, and 30 g, 1 ounce of cornstarch to a bowl. Mix well until the ingredients are fully combined. Use a saucepan with a thick bottom and place it over the heat. It's important to stir constantly to avoid lumps and to prevent the cream from burning. Cook over medium heat until the cream thickens completely. Once it has boiled enough, add 300 g, 10.5 ounces, of dulce de leche or milk caramel. You can use baking dulce de leche, classic dulce de leche, or even boiled condensed milk. Stir well and let it boil for a few seconds before turning off the heat. Transfer the pastry cream to another container and cover it with plastic wrap in direct contact with the surface to prevent a skin from forming. Let the cream cool down at room temperature and then refrigerate it until it is completely chilled. Once cold, it will have a firm and delicious texture. For a smoother texture, you can whisk it with a manual whisk or a hand mixer. Another way to use the pastry cream. Add 250 milliliters, 8.5 fluid ounces, of cold whipping cream. In this case, I use ambient Puratos sweetened vegetable cream, but you can use dairy cream or any other whipping cream. I'll set a timer to show you the correct whipping time. Whip the cream until stiff peaks form. Once ready, incorporate half the amount of pastry cream and continue whipping until fully combined. In total, whipping takes about 5 minutes for this quantity and type of cream. Observe the firm and perfect texture of the cream. Uses in decoration. This cream is ideal for filling cupcakes and decorating them with the firm cream. Filling chocolate bonbons and decorating eclairs or choux. Filling cakes and decorating them with the firm chantilly-style cream. For decorating, you can use different types of piping tips. For example, I'll demonstrate below as I usually do in my tutorials. Wilton tip 1M for rosettes. Large tip number 353 for larger details. Tip number 123 for petals and flowers. With this versatile cream, you can create spectacular and delicious decorations. Give it a try. The dulce de leche or milk caramel pastry cream is a delicious and versatile version of classic pastry cream. Its smooth and creamy texture, combined with the rich and sweet flavor of dulce de leche, makes it a perfect filling for cakes, eclairs, choux, cupcakes, and more. It can also be mixed with whipped cream to obtain a firm and airy cream, ideal for decorating. The combination of dulce de leche and pastry cream makes it unique and delicious. It can be used on its own or combined with whipped cream to achieve different textures. It allows you to make elegant and sophisticated decorations with piping tips. Perfect for filling and decorating without losing its stability. Easy to prepare, with simple ingredients and an easy process, you'll get a professional cream. To maintain its freshness and texture, store the pastry cream in an airtight container in the fridge. It lasts up to 3 days refrigerated. If you use vegetable whipping cream, the cream will stay stable for 4 to 5 days in the fridge. And don't go just yet. Up next, I'm going to show you how to make another filling you can use for these bonbons. This time, it'll be a chocolate one. The chocolate cream is one of those irresistible recipes that becomes an essential basic in baking. With a smooth, silky, and rich texture, this cream offers the perfect mix of chocolate, cream, and egg yolks. Soak 5g, 0.18 ounces, of gelatin in cold water and let it soften. Set it aside. In a bowl, mix 4 egg yolks with 60g, 2.1 ounces, of granulated sugar. In a saucepan, heat 400g, 14 ounces, of cream and 60g, 2 ounces, of whole milk until it boils. Pour the hot mixture over the egg yolks, stirring constantly. Return everything to the heat and cook over low heat until it reaches 82 degrees Celsius 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove from the heat and add the hydrated gelatin, mixing well. Pour the hot cream over 300g, 10.5 ounces, of chopped dark chocolate and let it melt for a few seconds. Use a manual whisk or immersion blender to achieve a smooth, homogeneous texture. Cover the surface with plastic wrap and let it set in the fridge for several hours. Once firm, look at this texture. You can use it to fill bonbons, macarons, cookies, layered cakes, choux, eclairs, and much more. I will whip the cream with a hand mixer at medium-high speed until it becomes creamy and spreadable. When you whip it, its texture and color change, becoming smoother, creamier, and with a lovely coffee tone. Now, I'll show you how to use piping tips, as I usually do in my tutorials. This chocolate cream is not only delicious but also easy to store. Keep it in the fridge for several days without losing its smoothness, and if you wish, you can freeze it to have it ready at any time. It's a perfect recipe to have in your baking arsenal because, in addition to being simple to prepare, it adds an exquisite touch to your sweet creations, whether as a filling, decoration, or accompaniment. A cream for all chocolate and pastry lovers. If you liked this step-by-step guide, give it a like, share it, and subscribe for more recipes. See you in the next video. Thank you so much, and see you soon.